Hi guys, how are you? This is Lois. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well and safe wherever you are. Come on guys, invite your friends, your relatives, yourselves, whoever is planning to enter Canada. And this video is about people who are flying for the first time to Canada. So before you book that flight, not before you board the flight, before you book that flight, you want to stop and watch this video. Okay? So it doesn't matter whether you're coming here as a visitor, a student, a worker, or you're coming here permanently on your permanent residence immigrant visa. It doesn't matter. If this is your first time to travel to Canada, boy, is it a long journey. Yes, especially depending on where you're coming from. The shortest trips are those ones which are coming from the US, but majority of the people come from abroad. So we're talking of Africa, Europe, Asia, all those places. So my friend, you really need to pay attention to this video because it's going to help you into booking the next flight to Canada. Okay, so this is for people who have already gone through the processes and they have the visa, they are travel ready. But there's a lot of confusion at this stage because now this is right now the things, the unknown apply to you. You're coming to a foreign land, you're landing here. A lot of people actually coming to Canada is usually their first flight out of home. And yeah, so guys, I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and I'm based in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Okay, I offer educational videos on immigration to Canada, but I also do videos like this to educate you on life in Canada and try to help you not make the same mistakes that I personally have made. So I'm just paying it forward. And for this video specifically, I want to say that I'll be mentioning airlines that I prefer. And there's a disclaimer. This is not a paid video. This is not a sponsored video. If you hear me mentioning airlines, I'm not paid by those airlines. It's just a public service that I'm doing to you. What you do with that information, it's entirely up to you. I'm just trying to tell you my experiences. And believe me, I fly a lot in and out of Canada. I still make mistakes and I have done dire mistakes in the past. And please do not repeat my mistakes. Okay? Now, if you need immigration services, you know, these days you can find us on YouTube, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, and we are going to be on Patreon. Yes, you can now support us on Patreon and we shall have different privileges and all the details of where you can find us, how you can book a consultation with me, how you can access our immigration services. All those details are going to be at the description part of this video, okay? Or you can just head onto our website, www.milalaimmigrationservices.ca. Okay, guys? Now, let us fly to Canada. Who is excited? I know you are. Now, first things first. Do you have your travel documents? I'll talk about 12 things that you need to pay attention to, my friend. Okay? Your travel documents. What do I mean by travel documents? Travel documents, people think that study permits, work permits are travel documents. No, those are not travel documents. Those are immigration documents. You need to look at your passport and your visas. Okay? Those are the things that give you authority to enter Canada. That student visa, that work visa, that migrant visa, that passport, of course, that is your travel document. Make sure that you have that. If you will be needing transit visas, make sure that you have those transit visas as well. Okay? Number one. So make sure you have that covered and that they are genuine. Oh my Lord. Yes, make sure they are genuine. There's a lot of people who are being caught with fake documents, but I'm not here to address the fake documents. I just want to make sure that you do not get caught with fake documents. Number two, my friend, that you really need to take care of is you need to understand your country of origin. We all know your country of destination. Come on, it's Canada, right? But your country of origin is important. Why is it important? Because that is the passport that you're using to travel on. And that passport has different privileges in different countries. Okay? So, how will you travel, and will you need a transit visa? Because most of the time you don't have direct flights from your country. Okay, for those people who have direct flights, well and good. But if you have connecting flights in other countries, you want to know, do you require transit visa, or can you access that country without a transit visa? So understand your privileges, the privileges of your passport within various countries, so that you know whether you'll need transit visas. Okay? Now, number 3, flights, airlines. Okay? You want to consider airlines because there are so many airlines that fly into Canada. But it's going to depend again on your country of origin. Okay? Which airlines fly directly into Canada, and once you're in Canada, is that airline gonna take you to your final destination? Okay? Now, when we're talking about flights, you wanna look at direct or connecting flights. That is important. If you can have access to direct flights, the better. I would advise avoid connections at all possible. If all possible, avoid connecting flights. But I also know people who are coming from far, you cannot avoid connecting flights, but avoid lots of connecting flights, you know? Keep connecting flights to a minimum, my friend, okay? Direct flights as much as possible, connecting flights, avoid them as much as you can, okay? Now with these connecting flights, I also want you to consider travel time. Yes, did I tell you just how far Canada is? Okay, I know it depends on where you're coming from. It's a long flight. So from Nairobi to Amsterdam, about 9 hours, and another about 9 hours from Amsterdam to Calgary. And then there's the layover of 4 hours or 6 hours. So you can see that my flight time usually ranges from 22 hours to 24 hours. And that is reasonable as far as I'm concerned. There are some that are going to go from up to 36 hours, you know, from 36 hours to 48 hours. Now, my friend, it's up to you to know how much time you have to travel, because if you're going to be traveling for 48 hours, come on, that's a long time to be traveling, right? No, it's a long time. Those are many days. You could have accomplished a lot of business. And, you know, the longer you fly, the more you get tired, the more the jet lag that you have. And so you have to know the value of your time when it comes to money, you know. So I was saying reduce the layovers. Again, when I'm saying reduce the layovers, I want to be considerate and conscious that, you know, we are working with different budgets, because budget is also very, very important. It's an important thing that you need to consider. How much money do you have at your disposal for your flight to Canada? You can pay as much as you want, or cheap, because cheap is relative when it comes to flight to Canada. You find that cheap flights, they have longer flying hours. Most of the time they have longer flying hours. The flights that are convenient, few connections and shorter flying time are going to be more expensive. Okay, I find that if you transit through the US, if you're transiting through the US, like when you're coming to Calgary, you find that the cheapest flights connect through, let's say, Seattle. And for you to fly to Seattle, you fly to Seattle, and then it's 10 hours waiting for a flight that will fly you for 1 hour from Seattle to Calgary. And I'm like, I don't have 10 hours to wait in Seattle to fly 1 hour into Calgary, okay? The people now who also fly Qatar, you find that I think you have to go get a layover in Qatar, in the UAE, whichever. At times you may have to sleep there, and then you catch your next leg the next morning, and then you'll have another connecting. So those flights take a really long time. Is that what you're looking for? You know, do you have things to do after you arrive in Canada? Do you have places to be? Those are things that you really need to consider on your flight time. Again, remember, if you're connecting with those flights, make sure that you have, if especially you're connecting through the US and they have very cheap flights going through the US, make sure that you have the US transit visa or you have the US visa. Okay, my friend? Yeah, so that is as far as budget is concerned. Now, one other very important thing you need to consider is your final destination in Canada. Yes, because Canada is massive. So you find, we've said time and again, Canada has 10 provinces and 3 territories. That brings, you know, hundreds of cities in Canada. So you find that we don't have also lots of international airports. So you, let's say in Ontario, there's Pearson, in Alberta, there's Calgary, in BC, there's Vancouver, like that. So each city, they have their international airport. So you need to figure out, if you land in Toronto, where is your final destination? Because you could be going to London, you could be going to Hamilton. So it's up to you to figure out how will you get from Pearson to Hamilton. Most likely, if you're not going to be driving, someone is not picking you up, you may be flying for about an hour to get yourself to Hamilton. So again, connecting time. Now, let me talk about connecting time. And connecting time applies not just in Canada, but even abroad. Because, my friend, I have suffered. Okay? Personally, I have suffered. You want to make sure, and this is something that actually touches on all the things that we talked about there. If you are connecting, you're flying, let's say, from Nairobi, and you're connecting through Europe, as long as you're just connecting through one country, most likely you won't need a transit visa. But if you're, let's say, landing in Paris and you then connect to Amsterdam and then to Canada, you will need to have a Schengen visa. Because from Paris to Amsterdam, that is considered a local flight in Europe. You cannot fly, and I made that mistake and I had to rebook that flight. Someone booked a flight for me whereby I was a Canadian permanent resident. I was flying on the Kenyan passport, and they put me in Paris and I had to go to Amsterdam, and I didn't have the Schengen visa and I could not board that flight. So you want to make sure. That was a very hard lesson that I learned. That is many years ago. So make sure you check whether you need transit visas, especially if you do not be transiting through 2 countries. If you're from Africa, in Europe, without the Schengen visa. Okay, that the same thing applies here in Canada. Once you get into Canada, the port of entry, that is the major airport where you come through, that is the first port of entry. That is where you will go through immigration. My friend, come ready to clear immigration there. That is where you'll face immigration. You get your study permit, you get your work permit, whatever needs, that's where you'll get it. You know, your PR, that is where you will apply at the first port of entry. So make sure that you have enough time to go through immigration and then catch your next flight to your next destination, because the next flight will be a local flight. If you come through Amsterdam, you land in Toronto. The next flight from Toronto will be either through WestJet or Air Canada or through some other cheap, bad airlines that I'll be talking about that you need to watch out for. So the final leg will be a local flight. When it's a local flight, of course, once you land in Calgary, if that's your destination, you just walk out of the airport. You won't go through immigration at all. You have cleared with immigration in Toronto. So make sure that you give yourself enough time to go through immigration so that you don't miss out on your flight. Now, now let me go back to those connecting flights again, because I have made grave mistakes in the past. Please know your airports. Yes, know your airports where you are transiting, because some airports were just created for chaos. At times, I look at some airports and I'm like, the person who designed this airport hates travelers. There's some airports, and I'm not gonna be naming them, but I remember once I landed in Paris, and everything is in French, and I don't speak a word of French. And you have to figure out where you're going. You know, I don't know, you have to catch a train to your next terminal. And I had 2 hours of connecting, and I am telling you, that is an athletic exercise, my friend. If you cannot run, you're missing out on your next flight. So give yourself enough connecting time. Check these airports. Some of them, they're just crazy. They are chaotic. You have to catch a bus or a train to the next terminal. You don't even know. You end up getting lost. Give yourself enough time to go through all the motions. So avoid 1 hour, 2 hour connecting times, especially in Europe. Okay? Because boy, did I run in Paris. I'm never doing that again. Okay, I also did the same in George Bush in Houston. Okay, I had to leave one terminal to go to the other terminal, and I had like 2 hours. And there are some people like me who are just blessed. And when I say blessed, we are blessed with getting lost. I am the queen of getting lost. So if you are like me, please, my friend, know yourself, know thyself, and give yourself enough accommodation. Again, with these airports, the reason I'm saying with these airports, check who and what are you traveling with. Okay? Who and what are you traveling with? What do I mean? There are people who are traveling with kids. There are people who are traveling with the elderly. There are people who are traveling with pets. There are people who are traveling with big big bags like guitars, some things that could not be checked in. So if you have large carry-ons and you're going to be running in Paris from one terminal to the other, or you have children and you're going to be running, please watch out. Make sure you understand your own situation before you choose some of these airports. That's why I said I really like Amsterdam. I like Amsterdam, and that's why I fly KLM, because it doesn't matter. I'm not leaving the airport. At any moment, I'm not leaving the airport. I know that once I'm there, it doesn't matter whether I have 2 hours or 4 hours, I'll have cleared everything. I'll have figured myself from one gate to the other within that time, and it's always sufficient time. There's no place whereby I'm leaving the airport to go catch a bus and give myself a chance to get lost and miss out on my flight. Okay? All right. Okay. Now, my friend, you need to know whether there are places you will be immediately after you land in Canada. Why am I saying this? You know, there are people who are coming for conferences, and you're landing now, and you're landing in Canada the night before, and your conference is in the morning. Please, these days, Canada is crazy. And I'm just telling you, this is the truth. We have become the country queen of delayed and cancelled flights. So give yourself enough time. If you're coming for a wedding, stop flying in the night before the wedding, because if they cancel your flight, you're missing your own wedding. It's common occurrence now, right now, for since the pandemic, since they opened the gates after the pandemic. We are just getting there. A day I stayed in Ottawa for 6 hours. My flight was cancelled and rescheduled and cancelled and rescheduled for 6 hours. Okay? And I'm just home. I was just traveling home. And we are having lost baggage. And that's why I'm saying, please avoid avoid many connections, because if they lose your baggage, then you're going to be going through a nightmare. The biggest problem is this cancelled flight. So give yourself enough time to fly, so that if they cancel or they reschedule, you're still not going to miss out on your event. If you have a really important meeting to attend, to arrive in Canada 2 days before. That also gives you enough time, like to sleep and catch up with your sleep, because I've been in meeting rooms whereby people have come from Kenya, they are here, they are dignitaries, they are seniors, they are attending conferences, and all I see is, and I'm like, I don't blame you guys when I see you sleeping in meetings. I know it's the jet lag. But then again, that's why I'm saying, give yourself enough time. Avoid this thing of coming on a red eye, you're arriving, and the next morning you're in a meeting. I'm telling you, you won't even concentrate. You're just going to be dozing off. Okay, guys? No. Again, so consider your airlines. Personally, I like KLM. It's less of a hassle. When you're in Canada, oh my Lord, let me tell you this. I paid the price once. In Canada, we have two main airlines that fly local. So there's WestJet and Air Canada. Then we have cheap ass flights, airlines. Oh my God. One called Flair. Avoid Flair. Oh my Lord. It doesn't matter whether they are giving you that flight for free. If you want to cry and hate your life and hate flying forever, fly Flair. There are people who tell me, oh no, Lois, you say Flair this, Flair that. Just go online and check their reviews. Check their reviews and see whether all those thousands of people are crazy reviewing Flair like that. There could be the exception who flies Flair once and they are okay. But one time I tried flying Flair because I wanted to prove something. I was like, oh, flying for $60. And I flew to Vancouver for $60. It cost me a day. Okay? Yeah, I almost cried. Eventually, I had to book a WestJet flight for that single day for $600. So cheap is expensive. I paid dearly. And this happens to a lot of people. You do not want to find yourself into those situations simply because, and especially when you're new. You know, I'm home. So even if I go through disappointments, I know I can go get a rental car and still drive home. Or still go to WestJet. But when you're new, you do not want to put yourself into positions of flying Flair. Avoid Flair. Okay? My friend. No. We have done those. Those are the things you need to consider. Okay? Perfect. Now, after you book that flight, so now you've made a decision. You know whether you want to go Qatar. You know how many hours you've booked your flight. Okay? Now, after booking flight, this is now the other biggest mistake people make. Oh my God. Confirm your times. Confirm flight times. And I am underlining it. Confirm flight times. If I tell you how many people get to miss their flights, because there are these flights in Canada that say, oh, your flight is on Thursday, 12:05 a.m. 12:05 a.m. Thursday. Do you know we are human? So our minds have that thing of tricking us that it's Thursday. What you don't realize is that you need to be in the airport on Wednesday evening around 9 p.m. Okay? So if your mind registers that your flight is on Thursday, you will find yourself on Thursday at the airport to realize that your flight was actually last night, 12:05 a.m., which is Thursday morning. Okay? Please confirm and reconfirm again. Look at your ticket and read it and reconfirm. Maybe you need the third person to tell you, but do not get to miss your flight to Canada. Okay, my friend? I told you I've done a lot of these things, so I do not want you to mess up. Now, when you're bringing children, when you have elderly, know whether you're going to need assistance at the airport. Okay? Check your pets if you're bringing pets and make sure that you have vaccinations. Make sure that you have you meet the arrival requirements. If you need ArriveCan, make sure that you download your ArriveCan. Is it 72 hours before you fly? You fill in your vaccination. Know whether you're going to need to quarantine. If you have pets, bring the pet vaccinations. If you have children, make arrangements if you're going to need any accommodation, any assistance with the check-in. Okay? And now you get to the airport. When you get to the airport, my friend, before you go, dress well and dress comfortably. Because if you're flying for 24 or 48 hours, my friend, you're going to sleep, wake up, sleep, shower, sleep, forever. It's like a whole lifetime, in flight time. So you want to make sure that you are dressed well, you're comfortable, because my friend, you also, flying sucks. I don't know, for me, flying sucks. It's just too much time in there and I get tired. So you want to make sure, bring a book, bring a blankie so that you can snore better. Just take care of yourself in flight. Now, when you fly and you land wherever you're landing, whether it's your city of destination or your, not destination really, where you are connecting, my friend, check gates and confirm and reconfirm gates, because these gates keep changing. Okay, and especially I feel like after COVID, in Amsterdam, they are not giving you the final gate that you'll use for departure. So you have to make sure immediately you disembark on your plane in Amsterdam, make sure you check that big board that is going to tell you where your gate is, because it could be a gate that is different from what was your on your boarding ticket. Okay, check and recheck gates, keep listening, because they keep announcing of gate changes, I don't know, boarding time changes. Make sure that you check your gates. Okay, my friend. And now you arrive in Canada. You are welcome. Canada is there welcoming you with both arms. Come ready for the experience of your lifetime. This is a great country. But remember what I said. Remember what I said. You go through immigration in your port of entry, which means you will most likely, even if your bags were checked to your final destination, you will get your bags out at the port of entry where you're going through immigration. Okay, that is why I will say, remember what I said, before you book that flight, check your point of destination. You do not want to arrive in Toronto and then you are connecting to a place like Calgary. That's a long time. That's a long flight. It's 4 hours flight. Of course, there's connection time, and then you'll be bringing your luggage. You have to get your luggage out. So book your flights and land at a city close to your final destination to avoid connecting flights in Canada, catching local flights if at all possible, so that you have a better experience and you are not getting overwhelmed with the flights. Okay, now guys, thank you so much for watching. Welcome to Canada. I hope that your experience is better than a lot of experiences that I have had flying into Canada. And yeah, welcome to Canada. If you need assistance in immigrating to Canada, if you want to know how you can immigrate to Canada, how you can come to Canada either to study or work, or just move here permanently, please head on to my website www.mileleimmigrationservices.ca and book that consultation, and I'll be happy to meet you and evaluate your option and tell you the best way to immigrate to Canada based on your qualifications. My friend, thank you for liking and sharing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye now.